Alright, guys, welcome to the second half of what I'm doing in the book of Enoch. Reading about the Nephilim here. And before I go on with the rest of this, I want to mention what I was reading about in the last video. I kind of wanted to mention and recap it a little bit. If you want to put it that way, I figured out a better way to put this too. When the Nephilim came down and decided to take wives from the daughters of men, they're up there, they're the watchers. They had, jobs there. They were part of a system of things up there. But if you want to look at it as them going AWOL, that just came to me right before I was going to make this video now. Them angels pretty much went AWOL. They were part of the system of things up there, and bunch of them, that's what they did. Just like being in the army, they went AWOL and come down without permission, and that's basically what they all did. So now we're gonna read about sentence is gonna be passed down upon them, and they're gonna ask Enoch to petition God on their behalf. So okay, we're gonna go right into this chapter right here, and it starts, "And before everything Enoch had been hidden, and none of the sons of men knew where he was hidden, or where he was, or what happened to him. And all his doings were with the holy ones and with the watchers in his days. And I Enoch was blessing the great Lord and the King of eternity, and behold, the watchers called to me, Enoch the scribe, and said to me, Enoch, scribe of righteousness, go inform the watchers of heaven, who had left the high heaven and the holy eternal place, and have corrupted themselves with the women, and have done as the sons of men do, and have taken wives for themselves, and have become completely corrupt on the earth. They will have on earth neither peace nor forgiveness of sin. They will not rejoice in their sons. The slaughter of their beloved ones they will see, and over the destruction of their sons they will lament and petition forever. But they will have neither mercy nor peace. And Enoch went and said to Azazel, You will not have peace. A severe sentence has come out against you, and that you should be bound. And you will have neither rest nor mercy nor the granting of any petition, because of the wrong which you have taught, and because of all the works of blasphemy and wrong and sin which you have shown to the sons of men. And I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid. Fear and trembling seized them. And they asked me to write out for them the record of a petition, that they might receive forgiveness and take the record of their petition up to the Lord in heaven. For they themselves were not able from then on to speak, and then they did not raise their eyes to heaven out of shame for their sins which they had been condemned. And I wrote out the record of their petition and their supplication in regard to their spirits, and the deeds on which each of them, and in regard to what they asked, namely that they should obtain absolution and forbearance. And I went and sat down by the waters of Dan, in Dan, which is west of Mount Hermon, or Mount Armon, and I read out the record of their petition until I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and the visions fell upon me, and I saw a vision of wrath, namely that I should speak to the sons of heaven and reprove them. And I woke up, and I went to them, and they were all sitting gathered together as they mourned in Obeliseo, which I don't know how to pronounce that, which is between Lebanon and Sinir. Jesus, I didn't even know Lebanon was that around in those days. Unless somebody just wrote in this to give you an idea, telling you that that's where presently, right now, where Lebanon is. And back then, that's where they were gathered. and with their faces covered, and I spoke before them all the visions which I had seen in my sleep, and I began to speak these words of righteousness and reprove the watchers of heaven. This book is the word of righteousness and reproof of the watchers who are from eternity, as the Holy One and the Great One commanded in that vision. And I saw in my sleep that I will now tell with the tongue of flesh, with my breath which the Holy Great One has given to men, and that they may speak with it and understand with the heart. And he was created, as he was created men to understand the word of knowledge, so he created and appointed me to reprove the watchers, the sons of heaven. And I spoke out your petition, but in my vision thus it appeared that your petition will not be granted to you for all the days of eternity, and complete judgment has been decreed against you. You will not have peace, and from now on you will not ascend into heaven for all eternity. And it has been decreed that you are to be bound in the earth for all the days of eternity. And before this you will have seen the destruction of your beloved ones, and you will not be able to endure them, but they will fall before you by the sword, and your petition will not be granted in respect for them, nor in respect of yourselves. And while you weep and supplicate, you do not speak a single word from the writing which I have written. And the vision appeared to me as follows. Behold, clouds called me in the vision, and the mist called me, and the path of the stars and the flashes of lightning hastened me and drove me. In the vision the winds caused me to fly, and hastened me, and lifted me up to heaven. And I proceeded until I came near a wall which was built of hailstones, and a tongue of fire surrounded it. And it began to make me afraid. And I went into the tongue of fire, and came near to a large house, which was built of hailstones. And the wall of that house was like a mosaic made of hailstones, and its floor was snow. Its roof was like the path of the stars and flashes of lightning. And amongst them were fiery cherubim, and the heaven was like water. And there was a fire burning around the wall, and its door was ablaze with fire. And I went into the house, and it was hot as fire and cold as snow. Yeah. Sounds like all the ingredients of a lightning storm, hot and cold air clashing, just like what causes lightning on the earth. And there was neither pleasure nor life in it. Fear covered me, and trembling took hold of me. And I was shaking and trembling. I fell on my face, and I saw the vision, and behold, another house which is larger than the former, and all its doors were open before me. And it was built of a tongue of fire, and in everything it so excelled in glory and splendor, and in size that I am unable to describe to you in its glory and size. And the floor was fire, and above were lightning and the path of stars. And its roof was also like a burning fire. And I looked, and I saw in it a high throne, which is in appearance like ice, and it surrounds like a shining sun, and the sound of cherubim. And from underneath the high throne flowed out rivers of burning fire, so that it was impossible to look at it. And he who is in great glory sat on it, and his raiment was brighter than the sun, and whiter than any snow, and no angel could enter. And at the appearance of the face of him who is honored and praised, no creature of flesh could look. A sea of fire burnt around him, and a great fire stood before him, and none of those around him came near him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, and he needed no holy counsel. And the holy ones who were near to him did not leave by night or day, nor did they depart from him until then I was covering my face, and I trembled. And the Lord called to me with his own mouth, and said to me, Come hither, Enoch, to my holy word. And he lifted me up and brought me near to the door, and I looked with my face down. And he answered me and said to me with his voice, Hear, do not be afraid, Enoch, you righteous man and the scribe of righteousness. Come hither and hear my voice. And go and say to the watchers of heaven, who sent you to petition on their behalf, you ought to petition on behalf of men, not men on behalf of you. Why have you left the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and lain with the women, and become unclean with the daughters of men, and taken wives for yourselves, and done as the sons of the earth, and begotten giant sons? And you were spiritual, holy, living an eternal life, but you became unclean upon the woman, and begat children through the blood of flesh, and lusted after the blood of men, and produced flesh and blood as they do, who die and are destroyed. And for this reason I have gave them wives, namely, that they might sow seed in them, and that children might be born of them, and thus deeds might be done on earth. But you formerly were spiritual, living an eternal, immortal life for all the generations of the world. For this reason I did not arrange wives for you, because the dwelling of the spiritual ones is in heaven. And now the giants, who were born from body and flesh, will be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth will be their dwelling. And the evil spirits came out from the flesh, because from above they were created from the holy watchers, was the origin of the first foundation. Evil spirits will be on the earth. Evil spirits they will be on the earth, and spirits of the evil ones they will be called. And the dwelling of the spirits of heaven is in heaven, but the dwelling of the spirits of earth who were born on the earth is on earth. And the spirits of the giants, the clouds, which do wrong, are corrupt, and attack and fight and break on the earth, and cause sorrow. And they eat no food, and do not thirst, and they are not observed. And these spirits will rise against the sons of men, and against the women, because they came out of them. In those days of slaughter and destruction, and the death of the giants, wherever the spirits have gone out of their bodies, their flesh shall be destroyed before judgment. Thus they will be destroyed until the day of consummation is accomplished upon the great age, upon the watchers and the impious ones. And now to the watchers who sent you to petition on their behalf, who were formerly in heaven, and now say, you were in heaven, but its secrets had not yet been revealed to you, and the worthless mystery you knew. This you made known to the women in the hardness of your hearts, and through this mystery the women and the men cause evil to increase on the earth. Say to them, therefore, you will not have peace. Alright, yins guys, I'm going to end the video right there. It was getting to be almost 15 minutes already. But in the next chapters eventually too, that's a bunch of pages in the video, would be too long. But it's going to be talk about the pillars of fire, and then ice prisons for all the corrupt, powerful people where they'd go. It even indicates that there's places of purgatory where like people give information about their death, about their demise. And it even mentions, eventually in Enoch it mentions the spirit of Abel, which was killed by Cain. And at the time it was said that the spirit of Abel was gonna continue to complain until his offspring are wiped from the face of the earth. That's what it literally says in Enoch, that Abel was going to complain about, that Abel was going to continue to complain as long as he is able. Get it? As long as he is able. Yeah, until Cain's offspring are completely wiped from the face of the earth. And of course, the Noah and the Ark thing, so they eventually are wiped off the face of the earth. But anyway, that's it for this video. There's going to be more to come. Yeah, see you next time.